Hi, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. My conspiracy theory wheels have been turning, wondering, hold up, if Billy Ray will be named. Ooh, you mean Billy Ray Cyrus? Not Miley's dad. Really, Shell? You talking about Billy Ray Cyrus, right? That's the Billy Ray you're talking about? Oh my God. Not Hannah Montana's dad. Not Hannah Montana's dad. No. Oh man, it's too much. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, listen, at this point, nobody's safe. Okay? Nobody's safe. Honestly, nobody. He said, hey, everybody. Oh my God, Canvas, thank you so much for gifting memberships at our last stream. I hit that end stream and didn't get to thank you. If you guys got a membership, if you're watching the replay and you got a gifted membership, there's a lot of gifters in the last stream. Please put a heart in the chat. Please say thank you. And by the way, the people that do get gifted actually say thank you. So I appreciate y'all. Okay, we got manners over here. Canvas and Crime, again, thank you, love. Thank you. This is for you. Sorry, I ended the live. I was a little worked up and upset in the last live. I mean, I was really it just felt so heavy. And I think like when you're reading, and this is the thing about the Diddy stuff, and I do apologize if I get into my no, I don't apologize. I don't apologize for feeling empathy over what I'm reading and having a real reaction about hearing about minors and children being impacted in this industry. So I don't apologize. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. And neither should you guys whatsoever. Don't apologize. I don't apologize. If I don't have to apologize, y'all don't have to apologize. We just gonna be ourselves, okay? That's what we gonna do. All right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You're right. I'm not going to. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I think for those that don't know, I have a master's degree in social work. Okay. And I worked in 10 years in government. And so when you hear these stories of like really horrific abuse, especially child abuse, I have been conditioned to figure out how to get that information and put it somewhere. Well, after I had my baby bunny, who's now 2, I left my job of 10 years and I said, I'm going to try this YouTube stuff. And I started doing YouTube. All right. And one thing I've noticed is that I don't like, it's been a minute since I've been out of the field, and I have to check myself sometimes when it comes to that. But what you see is what you get as far as emotions go. So thank you. So that's just how I feel. I can never just be. I can't fake it. You know what I mean? I really can't, and I refuse to fake it. What you see is what you get. And I'm too old to fake it, if that makes sense, right? Like I am gonna be 40 this year. I am too old to fake this. No more. I can't do it. Yes, it really does. I think it's taken us all to a different place. Absolutely. So I appreciate that. So shout out to you guys for being so, thank you, real deal. Thank you. Um, Shout out to you guys for being so compassionate as well. And as long as we hold space for each other, I think we'll be fine. All right. But we got to get into this news, and we really got to get into this news. Now, I'm going to start, before I really get into this, I'm going to start by setting the situation here for what I'm about to go into, okay? Some of you guys in my chat have been talking about Rabbit, the UK victims. There are UK victims. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? UK victims, UK victims. A couple days ago I was live and I was talking about Don Richard's lawsuit, okay? And there's a portion in this lawsuit, and I have it pulled up because I keep referencing it because for whatever reason, I couldn't really like stop thinking about it, right? Don Richard's lawsuit, which is about 55 pages, on page 22, I'm going to read you this part that says, okay? It tells you a little bit about Don and Diddy. They went to Scotland, they went to the UK, and they're about to perform, okay? So she talks about kind of her interaction with Dirty Diddy Money. This is back in 2010. On their last night in Scotland, Miss Richard witnessed Mr. Combs and several other males gang banging Mr. Combs' female assistant. At the hotel pool, Miss Richard immediately left and went to her hotel room. All right. On their flight back to the United States the next day, Miss Richard asked Mr. Combs where his assistant was. Mr. Combs replied, "I don't give a fuck where that bitch is." It's in the lawsuit. Says it in the lawsuit. Miss Richard later learned that Mr. Combs had taken his assistant's passport with him to the United States, leaving the assistant stranded in the United Kingdom. So this is literally line 92 to 94. Yep, pretty much. It says in the lawsuit that he left her stranded in the United Kingdom. It says it right over there. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I'll show you all. They went to Scotland, and then I guess at some point left her stranded in the UK. It's right there. Okay. So every time I was talking about this, it just kept coming to me. It was like something was telling me, go reference the lawsuit, because it literally tells you about, potential victims in the UK. Very much so, Lisa. Very much so, doesn't it? Like they just leave people everywhere, take their legal documents and stuff like that. All of it. So when I heard that, and then I saw this right over here, Diddy gave me drugged shots. Here it is. Diddy shock Diddy investigators fly to UK to search for possible Brit victims as rapper lawyer reveals plea bargain decision. Now, this is something that dropped on the 29th, so like 2 days ago. Diddy was seen attending several high-profile events in London in the past 2 decades. And then I saw that our law and crime folks over here talked about it too. So there's more, most definitely, they got some UK folks, some UK victims. Something's going on. And I do wonder, going back to this lawsuit, because it's a narrative that's written and I don't think it can be ignored. What did this assistant do? Like, how did she get back? This was back in 2010, you guys. Flight restrictions were still going. I mean, you still have to check, stuff like you're still international and everything. How did this happen? And did she sue? What happened to her? What happened to her? I can't help but wonder. And then you have this situation right here, the 9-year-old, right? The 9-year-old. Clearly, now the 9-year-old, if this I don't remember if the lawyer gave us a date of when the event happened, and we're going to go back to that IG part or that IG video, because I think it's important to maybe understand, like, time frame wise, when did this happen exactly. I want to understand the time frame and timeline of this. And I don't know if did they remove the video? I hope not. But I can pull it probably somewhere on YouTube. Something was said about this. How is that not a charge? That's a great question. Like, how did they not charge for theft or something to that effect? Okay. Let me go back to what's his name? Busby Law. And I'm sure it's going to be up here at some point. Here it is. Okay. Because really the press conference was about 30 some minutes, about 30 to 40 minutes at most. And I want to go to the transcripts. Sometimes when you hear a press conference, it's what they're not saying that you should pay attention to. Does that make sense? It's what they're not saying. Anytime you have a press conference with law enforcement or an attorney or whatever, pay attention to the things that they don't say to see what you can connect with that. Because you would think that the most obvious thing would be, answer, maybe not necessarily give us the victim's information, because that's not what we want. But why wouldn't they drop names? Some folks said it's because of the fact that, like, they're still looking, they're still investigating, but they know for a fact that there are corporations involved in this situation, right? We know that. Thank you, Jill. Oh my gosh. Jill just gifted 5 memberships. Put some hearts in the chat. Thank you, love. Shout out to you, Jill. And I did get your email, Jill. I will follow up with you on that. I did see it. I just haven't had time to respond. 30 years of victims. We're going to go back to this. And I want to look at the transcript. And I want y'all to review it with me. Corporate, that is a corporation, right? So are these hotels. So are these, institutions. These are all corporations, right? There were private flights. Okay. There were, I'm sure there were accommodations. Okay. I'm sure there were, people that would do the shopping, they would do different things and whatnot. Like, this is the thing that is, I'm sure there was all of that. A lot of people need to be held accountable. People keep saying the royals. What they say about the white parties too. See, now I feel like I can react to this a little bit more now that I've processed this a little bit more. What do they say about the white parties? They're looking at all kinds of parties, y'all. All of them. As they should. I just spilled my coffee on me. No. You said this is going to be, the Jilly, this is going to be very big. I just spilled coffee on me, y'all. My apologies. Andrew may not be done yet. Corporations like Making the Band, corporations like Bad Boy. Bad Boy is a corporation, don't you think? Yes, it has. I promise y'all. I feel so much better. Blue Muse, when do I not drink coffee? Girl, I drink coffee like at least 3 times a day. I drink coffee before I go to bed. It puts me to sleep. That's how much of my ADHD is crazy. Yeah, that's how I'm not medicated, so it helps a little bit. This has a lot of teeth. MTV, who else? Who else? Think about corporations. We said try, most definitely. Miss Lou Taylor. I mean, follow the money. Follow the money. What about all the other corporations that were next to him? Bad Boy is a corporation, in my opinion. You got people, he was giving jobs to people. What about, and I keep harping on this, Love and Hip Hop? Those people. Clive Davis, absolutely. Absolutely. And his name has been brought up. He's been very silent about this, hasn't he? Interesting, huh? Yeah, interesting. VH1. Yeah. Yes. Print the Empire. The Royals. There's some pictures out there. In my opinion, this is going to be bigger than Epstein. Epstein didn't even go to trial. In my opinion, they don't want this man alive. Something is going to happen to Diddy. I hope that that's not the case, because I want us to go to trial. Like, I want to be able to talk about it. I want to be able to find some justice. I want to be able for all of us to like go here and like, be like, yes, like humanity, we won something, something like something happened here in our decade, in our lifetime. That's what I want. But I don't know if it's going to happen. What did Diddy dress up last year as? Wasn't he like the Joker? Isn't that just such a fitting, costume for Diddy? The Joker? Not because the man's a Joker, but honestly, what does the Joker represent in Batman? In Gotham City? Who was the Joker, the character? I love Batman. So I mean, the Joker was like the ultimate villain, right? And then Diddy dresses up like the Joker and truly scares the shit out of everybody. He is chaos, right? Or chaos, organized chaos, all of that. And you know what happens, right? Like, who was it? Heath Ledger, who literally had to go through like this whole situation to become the Joker. It messed with his psyche. Notice how Diddy was okay after dressing up like the Joker. It's weird. I don't find that to be a coincidence whatsoever. Definitely chaos, right? Chaos, revenge, all of it. You said Rabbit, they'll never be able to do over 133 lawsuit cases. I don't know why they didn't do a class action lawsuit. And that's what the attorney said. He said, we're going to do these individually, right? Which I think it's interesting that you bring this up, girl. I really think it's interesting because I was thinking about that too after I had processed this a little bit more. What is the benefit of doing this individually versus class action? I'm trying to figure this out. Hey, Ingrid. Hey, everybody. Those coming through. Shout out to you guys. Articulate said there's no way that they can take him out because these people don't know where all their videos are. There's no way. He has insurance claims. You said your favorite Joker was Jack Nicholson. You said, that's what they said, Running Bear, that the Joker, the character, what is it, method acting is by the way, listen, there's some really great method actors out there, but there's something to be said about the way in which it messes with your psyche, right? It messes with you. And so some of these folks get into these characters. What I found interesting was that Diddy dressed up as the Joker. I think it was last Halloween. Was it? It was last Halloween. He was dressed up as the Joker. And he was able to play that character, and he was getting into people's faces. There are videos out there of him just doing the most in this Joker costume. Takes it off, and it was like nothing. He played the character very well. It didn't drive him to any type of craziness. I would say it's like an alter ego. Is it Saidala? Tristan, shout out to you. Saidala says the reason why the Joker is the most dangerous villain is because he has no agenda, just sows chaos. Bingo. I love that you said that because thank you for the $5, by the way, love. Sorry, my phone keeps buzzing, girl. He's a dangerous villain because there is no agenda. You're right. He just sows chaos. That's all he does. All of it. This is great. Thank you so much for that. He didn't play any character. The man is a real life clown, right? Right? You said the only reason I can think is because some people's cases involve more people than just Diddy. So many they have to file separately to get the other monsters too. That's a good point. Like how many people are in this little circus, right? Because it's not just Diddy. Diddy didn't just victimize 100 people, 120 people, 25 minors. No. Diddy didn't just do this by himself. You guys, there are others involved. And if that is the case, I listen, I want the victims to get justice. That's what I want. But I want us as a society to get justice too. For those that don't stand for any of this, for those that don't support any of this whatsoever. Jill, I didn't see I'm sorry, Jill. There's so many comments, so you're gonna have to tell me what you said. You might have to repeat it. But it's just, to me, it seems like this isn't just about, it's about the victims. Don't get me wrong, right? But it's all of us as a society, all of us, right? Hey, Vicky. Jill, go ahead and put your comment again. And girl, I missed it. There's just too many comments. I can only do so much to get a hold of all the comments. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Okay, when you bring racketeering charges, there's usually charges against other people. Come looking back at the YSL trial, yes, I would say so. You said you just mentioned a clown. Did you see him as It, the clown from Stephen King? No, I had missed that one. You said it's easier to get convictions. Gotcha. No, I see. So individually, you think lawsuits are better because it's easier to get convictions. All right, hold up, y'all. I didn't know this. I had no idea. Sorry, y'all. I got to take some breaks. It's a lot to process, and I will tell you guys, if you guys are getting worked up with this, sign off, take a break. It's okay. The internet will continue to be here every day, and if it's not, it might be for the better. You know what I mean? Layla, no way. So Disney gave Diddy a cease and desist to stop dressing up as a Joker. They felt that he was tainting the character. How do you taint the Joker character? That's crazy. Then I believe they gave him a lawsuit, so he dressed up as Batman to F with them. Oh, you're kidding, right? I didn't know that, Layla. You think it's individual payouts? Okay. Well, let's get into this. And I'm gonna try to. There's certain parts I'm gonna speed up because I really want us to get to certain points. I pulled the transcript because there were certain areas that I wanted to go over so I understood a little bit more as we have now processed this a little bit more. Okay. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I'll tell you kind of what I'm thinking out loud, honestly.
Conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enable this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence is
the biggest secret. He just said the biggest secret that was never a secret at all. Listen, if you've been following all this and you know before the raids, before all of this, if you knew that Diddy was a known perp, in my opinion, allegedly, whatever, okay? Because at this point, they're saying that there's a 9-year-old child involved and there are like 25 other minors at the time. To me, this is a perpetrator, okay? This is not a secret. It never was. It might have been to those that didn't want to seek to understand or ignored it, right? Like they knew and they just not going to talk. But you're right. It was never a secret.
It's now been broken and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI.
So some of these individuals haven't spoken out yet to the authorities. And by the way, thank you so much, Fab, for gifting memberships. You guys put some heart in the chats if you got memberships. Thank you guys for your continued support on this. Thank you so much, Fab. I know you gifted last time, so shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you. Hold up. Let me read this comment that looks very interesting. Rabs, how come when Corey Feldman was blasting this decades ago, it really didn't get any momentum? What do you guys think? This is a good question, Night Charm. I think it's a great question. Not just Corey Feldman, but like other folks that were saying this. There have been others that have spoken out that have been silenced. Why is it that when Corey Feldman was blasting this decades ago, it didn't really get any momentum? Where are we at in society today and now that we are now paying attention? That's what I want to know, right? Why do you guys think that is? It's a great question, Night Charm. I think for me, the way I see it is like we know that it's there. I don't know, man. And it's not just, it's everybody. Like, why are we selectively only paying attention sometimes and not all the times? You know? Why are we only offering support to victims when, you know, we just feel like it versus because there's a need for it? It's weird, but I hear your point. Didi, thank you for the $2 support. Rabbit, take a set, hit the like. Aw, thank you, Didi. Shout out to you. And ASU Mom, thank you again for gifting. If you guys got memberships from ASU Mom, Fab, Jill, thank you. Put some hearts in the chat, please, and thank you. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, love. Rabbit, people will be shocked who gets called out. The others, who do you think is going to get called out? That's what I want to know. That's right, Suzanne. They made Corey Feldman look crazy, right? It's the same with Cassie. When that lawsuit broke out, what did they do? They made her look like she was crazy, okay? And then the video comes out, and I've said it time and time again. What happens? We must believe Cassie. She was telling the truth. So you needed a video. You couldn't just, you needed the video. You needed Cassie's video to believe it. But you had people that in support of Diddy were getting together and organizing to discredit Cassie. Some of us, I know I did, and a bunch of others, we believed her right away. We knew it because it's been said before. We knew it. There was just too much out there already. So here she comes suing. They settle less than 24 hours. And to me, a settlement with less than 24 hours spoke volumes. It said to me that Diddy was really scared. And once the settlement happened thing, I mean, what is it, 24 hours or less? The damage was already done. He couldn't control it anymore. He had to figure it out. And that's really when Pandora's box opened, right? Because then the feds can look into, they got to figure things out, who and what, and then they get to interview a bunch of people. Yeah, it got bigger. It got bigger for sure. I know about this 10 years ago because I follow conspiracy theories. Many of them are actual conspiracies. That does happen. And what I've learned that every time people say, well, this is a conspiracy, or there's always some truth to something. And I always try to listen a little bit. Can we also acknowledge that Orlando Brand warned the world about Puff Daddy, but because he comes off as crazy, people laughed it off and kept him moving. We owe him an apology, Rabbit. That's another one. And, even if, because, that does happen, right? I know that he struggled with some substances. Maybe his use of substance might have triggered his mental health to a certain degree. And that could definitely make people feel some type of way about whether they believe you or not. You know what I mean? But if you talk to people enough and you're around the industry, or or certain people, or human behavior in general, you'll understand that not everything is a conspiracy. It's just what it is, right? Too many people have said out there that, oh, this is just this. I don't know. I believe that there could be truth in some things that people say, and then you kind of go from there. Yeah. Orlando did say something about this and other things. He's been very vocal on some stuff, but people have kind of like discounted him as like a drug user or like having some issues, and that could very well be the case, but two things can be right at the same time, if that makes sense. We have to learn how to pay attention and listen to what the people are saying.
And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases.
Okay.
After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families.
Yes.
They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed.
Yep.
We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with the mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive.
They have to
We had
vet.
to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit.
Okay. So they said in this press conference, right, that they received, if I remember correctly, it was like over 3,000 calls, right? 3,000. 120 are legitimate cases that they have picked up from this hotline that they've posted up. With this, it sounds like the victims or the alleged victims are having to show receipts, pictures, videotapes, everything. They have to turn everything in, right? I would imagine just having to go through all that. I mean, 120, are they all provide? Is it all like text messages, videos? You think so? The only odds that it could be multiple calls applied to the same. It could be maybe the same thing. But when he said that, it was like, whoa. So what does that mean? Does that mean that like each case had to provide something to corroborate the event that they're discussing or that they're showing, like dates and locations, knowing who all the witnesses is? It's from decades too, right, Moxie? But something like this, I would think that you would remember. You know what I mean? The Admiral, that's the other thing too, like at the risk of them being re-victimized all over, right? I was just asking yesterday, I said, you imagine like if you get, say you went to a party, to one of these celebrity parties, right? And you went through some stuff. Maybe you didn't report it to the police, but suddenly you get a call from like Homeland Security or the district attorney's office or somebody, some lawyer office, about your video, that they found your video. And here you are, you've moved on, you've never told anybody about this. And then you're being made to maybe testify, you're being subpoenaed to relive this whole situation again. That's what it sounds like to me, right? That the lawyer only took people that had some kind of proof, which a lot of the victims wouldn't have. Yeah, so just imagine some folks like not having the adequate stuff, but that they were victimized. No, you think Chrissy Teigen? In what way? As a person that attended the Diddy parties? Because Chrissy Teigen, she's had to calm down. Not Chrissy Teigen. Yeah, you guys know about Chrissy Teigen, right? Because she did the most, and there's just a lot of us aren't fans of her. You said definitely Chrissy? Oh my gosh. Teigen for sure? You said Diddy has all the proof? You think it's all right? Y'all think absolutely Chrissy Teigen? Oh, she's a mess too. Oh my God. That is not how it took. They haven't had enough time to vet all 3,000. Thank you. All right. Those who could show quick made the press conference. The others just take more time. So with this being said, that they could be Kraken, there could be more victims than 120 at this point. So they're still betting like all the calls that they've gotten, right? Because they don't have enough time to vet 3,000. I don't think they're just saying that they received 3,000, and from the 3,000 they were able to vet 120. So there could be more from the 3,000 at this point. I don't think so. Not 120 cases in one Diddy party. This might have been like multiple parties, or throughout the decades, 3 decades to be exact. You said they had 120 of the 3,000 cases they're still investigating. That's right. Those that cannot be proved can collaborate information to help other cases. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yes, she did. She scrubbed that Twitter. Yes, she did.
We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's a victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point.
Okay, here we go.
Pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims.
60 males and 60 females? Oh, wow. Okay. I have some questions about that, but let me hit play.
As plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian.
Okay, so somebody that could do math right away, what numbers is that? I'm sorry, let me go back a little bit because he put the hold up, let me see.
You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females.
Okay.
There are 60 males and 60 females.
Females who have joined us to pursue these claims are plaintiffs in this group. 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California. Okay. What do you guys think of those ratios? This is the numbers that they're putting out. 62% identified as African American, 30% are white, the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. Did they serve? Like, I'm trying to figure out if they put this out here, did they say, how do you identify yourself, or before they put this number? If I'm understanding this, it's basically half and half, right? That's a lot of math, girl. Yes, it is. That's a lot of math. Okay, let me hit play.
Who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida.
Wow.
And I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
Okay, let me stop right here. Because when I was listening to this, I kind of wondered if this was because Tony Busby, the lawyer, does explain this later on. He says, that they were, especially the 9-year-old, for example, who was the youngest victim, they were auditioning for like opportunities and whatnot, which makes me wonder that if this was 25 minors, okay, at the time that the crime happened, where were the parents? Were they aware of what happened? Like, how did this happen? Were they present? Were the parents, did any reporting go to the parents? Did they not know? Because that would be like, can you imagine if it was 25 victims that did not report to their parents or law enforcement? Nobody saw anything. It's just weird, right? Were they aware? That's the question that I have. Huh. Okay.
The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that it revives such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later.
Okay.
Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward.
And this is very true, right? Victims don't speak out because, first of all, the re-victimization, like having to tell the story, not reporting, there's a lot to be said here. Right, fabulous Fab, like what happened to the child labor laws, right? You said I was a stage mom and actor myself. I would have to guess there were falsehoods of what the children were attending versus what it actually was. Think of showcases of musicians, right? Right, who else knew? A lot of children don't ever say a word. Don't be quick to blame the parents. No, I don't blame Steeler Princess. I don't blame the parents. I'm trying to this is why I'm bringing this up. When the R. Kelly thing went down, okay? Go back to R. Kelly. R. Kelly's defense to a lot of this is, hey, I had a agreement with the parent so that they can perform with me, right? I had an agreement, they were going to be doing backup or they were promised a career and then they would travel. Some of these women were traveling with R. Kelly, right? Often the parents get manipulated by a lot of these people, right? But where it becomes tricky, and I think we have to understand, and really because it's a complex situation, is did they sign their rights over? Was it just a 48-hour thing like what happened to Bieber? What happened? Because the kids can't consent. At some point, you're going to have to be like, well, all right, then. All of this happened. Like, what do we make of this? There has to be set, we have to be more mindful of that. We can't just give our children to the industry. And they could very well be victims too. But at the same time, it's like, wait a minute. Did you get paid? Were you paid off? What happened here? Yeah, good example. Thank you for putting this up. Brian Peck and Nickelodeon. What's his name's dad? Drake Bell's dad. If you watch the documentary, Drake Bell's dad knew that something was up with Brian Peck. They had a custody battle with Drake Bell's mom. And because of that, Brian Peck launched onto that and he groomed Drake Bell and he perpetrated on Drake Bell, right? And it was under the guise of acting and coaching. That's the piece that really we have to kind of understand, well, what role do the parents play? Because we have cases already that have set forth the precedents of all right, so what do we do with these parents that say, well, they promised me this and this and nothing came out of that. So it's not so much about parent blaming, because that's not what I want to do, but I definitely feel like we need to understand, we need to wake up and understand that you can't just leave your kids with just about anybody. That makes sense. That's my thought on that. Thank you. Said I think the difference is with this guy, he never was seen as this person. He never had allegations. R. Kelly did, whereas this was a silent predator. The man was a good guy. There you go. Okay. Different kinds of predators and perpetrators, right? No different than Boy Scouts. No different than the church. If you leave, if I leave my kid, or you're sharing, shout out to you, Steeler. You said I was essayed by my dance teacher's father at 8 when my mom and my teacher were out shopping. There's all kinds of way it could have been gone down. I never said a word. I was scared. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's we don't, whether it's a priest, a teacher, a person that you put in trust, hell, at fucking daycare where you're supposed to leave your kids and you're thinking that they're watching your kids. You just never know, right? This can happen to anybody. Where it gets a little bit tricky here is, were the parents paid off? That's what I want to know. Because when R. Kelly went down, that was the whole situation. People were accusing the parents of being paid off by R. Kelly. Really? You know what I mean? We have to kind of be mindful that these positions and powers of trust, thank you, they will take advantage of our most vulnerable, which is our kids. That's the question that I have. Were they paid off? Was anybody paid off here? It's not out of the norm. It does happen. Right? That's It does have, it makes you wonder. That's all. All right, let me hit play on this, y'all.
I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions.
Okay, see, several of these events occurred in auditions. Okay, so I want to go back because people are like, what's a puppy? I'm pretty sure he said a puffy party, but it sounded like puppy party. Pretty sure it was puffy, like Puffy, not Puppy. So he goes out here to let us know where these incidences occurred. At parties, typically after parties, right? Our after album release parties in New York, New Year's Eve. I don't know why I keep saying New York. New Year's Eve. Sorry about that. Parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party. I'm pretty sure they meant to say puffy, but it sounds like puppy. Although several of these events occurred at auditions with many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being a star or in the promise of having Sean come listen to their event or read or let them read. You should know that some of this behavior occurs at well-known venues in New York City. Some of their behavior occurred at private residence of people. So notice how there was something that stood out to me in this press conference. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, because I feel like he's telling us something here that we know that it wasn't just Puffy, right? There's going to be other people that are going to be named here, especially in the 9-minute mark. Let me play this, okay? And let me see if I can slow this down to normal so you guys can hear what I'm talking
parties, about. 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs.
Let them read for Sean Combs or having Sean Combs listen to them. So what this tells me right here is that Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, was essentially setting up these young stars, okay, to meet with them. Somebody here in the middle was setting up to meet with Sean Combs and then be perpetrated by him or, clearly essayed or hurt by Sean Combs. That's what it sounds like to me. So maybe allegedly, in my opinion, it could have been like an audition, right? Like a read. It could have been Christina Haran, I think that's her name. Maybe she's saying, all right, come over here and audition for me or go do this with Sean Diddy Combs and then we'll promise you a spot on this music video. That's what it sounds like to me right there. So somebody else was facilitating this whole thing right here. Somebody else. Will that somebody else be indicted? Will they get in trouble? Because Maxwell did. Somebody did. Let me hit play.
You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, Reports that were made to the authorities.
Here you go. Reports reported this conduct. Reports reported this conduct. I'm just reading it. We should all know that some of the behavior that occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reports reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or hospitals. We are in the process of collecting with our team assistant medical records that were made to the authorities. So more than 55% of the victims. All right, somebody do the math. So if they only collected 120 reports, right? So thus far, they're still investigating the other ones. 120 reports, and 55% of those victims made reports to law enforcement or hospital staff. Right? Where do we end up on those numbers? So go back a little bit. They're saying here that some of the victims, they collected 55% of the victims, and they're in the process of collecting more data. Okay. How many people out of 120 reported from the people that they already have? You said 70? Okay. So 70 people, if this is correct, if this is what he's saying right here that 55% of the folks that they've collected from, okay, you said 66. Yeah, 66 to 70, I would say. Somewhere around the math is not my strongest suit. Yeah. Thank you. So 120 and 55% of those, they were able to collect some level or are collecting some level of documentation. Guys, that's our documentation right there that we've been asking. Okay. This is why I said, like, go review this press conference and slow it down and pay attention to the things that are not telling you. What aren't they telling me in verbatim? They're saying out of the victims that they've collected, 66, at least 66 of them, they have some level of documentation from hospital or police. Now, 66 reports and not one fucking arrest in the last 30 years that this man's been doing this thing, or anybody else. Not one arrest. I don't even think he has a parking ticket. 66 reports. What happened? What happened? Well, I tell you, when you hear this, I'm saying, Kay, like, the money is crazy. But that should tell you. You mean to tell me, first of all, you got 3,000 people that y'all are still investigating calls and everything, right? Let's just set that out there, right? 3,000. 120 reports. 25 of those minors. 60 are women, 60 are men. 66. If he's saying 55% of the victims filed reports with either law enforcement or hospitals, okay? That means that out of 120, at least 66 or 67, whatever number we came up with, those people have filed law enforcement reports or hospital reports, and not one, now nobody was arrested, not one person behind bars. You're kidding, right? Oh man, you're kidding. You're kidding. You're kidding. You're kidding. That just can't be right. Hold up, y'all. 1 second, y'all. Sorry, my phone was ringing. Can y'all hear me? Let me know. It is very corrupt. It's very corrupt. Sorry, guys. I got a phone call. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I just wanted to do the math for you guys. I wanted y'all to see. Yeah. So thank you for those that did the math for me. But just to give you an idea of how many reports we have out there and not one arrest. So yeah, people covered up for this man. Law enforcement covered up for this man, just to break down the numbers. But let's go ahead and keep.
Authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called.
Here you go. That's important. So some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI, you should know. FBI. They had talked to the FBI, or I don't know if it was at the time, but it sounds like either recent, but the FBI was informed. Okay. Medical records reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I mean several, I mean many who did in fact seek medical treatment, were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system. Weird drugs that you should probably never heard of, that continues to pop up in a drug, and I forgot, I can't say the drug name, but it's called Xylozy. Let me see. I'm gonna type it in the chat. Y'all go look it up in the Google. I think this is the one that they said was the horse tranquilizer. And when I think of xylazine or trans, I put it in the chat. Which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer. When I heard that, I was like, is that ketamine? But it's not. I guess it's something different. Did I say it correctly? Girl, I said it correctly. So these people went to the authorities, did medical reports. Just like JoJo said, hospitals are supposed to report when there's an SA, even if you don't want to file charges. So they were given this drug. It's Trank. Is that how you say that? Let me know. Trank, like horse tranquilizers, like a Trank. Gotcha. With a K in it. So they said, based on the research, that that's what the drug they were able to pull.
Xylazine, or Trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer. Ooh. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case.
This is interesting because Gloria Allred is doing a class action lawsuit, right? That's what she is saying. But this law firm right here is doing it individually. So that I don't know why that is.
Case may be filed in one venue like California. Another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names.
Oh, shit.
It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are.
Oh, man.
And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly, but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing.
This is important. They know who they are. They know who they are. They're not going to say anything right now. Let me tell you, I bet all of you, I'm looking on social media like, let me look at, whose profile am I looking at? I'm going to look at Stevie J, Peter Guns. Who else? Who are we looking at? Jay-Z. I'm looking at my phone like I'm looking at everybody's social media and screenshotting and recording before things disappeared and go, DiCaprio for sure. Who's acting funny on social media? Because we're already watching them. Yeah, we are. Will Smith, I guess so. Who else? You said this lawyer will not make money directly with this criminal. He is doing the right thing. He will get paid in interviews, book deals. I think so too, Kraken. Meek Mills is another one. That's right. No worries. Is it Psydelic? Thank you so much for stopping by. Shout out to you, love. Thank you. It's gonna be a lot of them. LeBron. Who else? Ashton. Who else? Keep an eye on those social media profiles. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, who's acting like he doesn't even know Diddy at this point, right? Kim K, yes, yes, ma'am. J Lo, how can we forget about J Lo? Can't forget about you. Jamie Foxx.
I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct.
Wow.
As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but will also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were
banks, pharmaceutical, and hotels. Well, the footage they got from the hotel, oh Lord, yes, TD Jakes. And then there's TD Jakes. Look, banks, why would they look at banks? Let me know in the chat, why would they look at banks at this point? What do you guys think is going on? Why banks? How would a bank facilitate the abuse of another person? What do you guys think? Put in the chat.
Were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused, and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving.
What happened with the Cassie tape from the hotel? Us internet sleuths, are known, us being nosy and whatnot, right? We were looking to see, well, wait a minute, that hotel doesn't even exist anymore. That's not the same owners. They gave a statement that basically said, we don't know anything about it. We don't know that it happened there. We don't know nothing. Those people were paid off as well, right? Because Diddy would like rent out the whole floor and he'd have the whole floor. I mean, come on now. The man was comfortable running after Cassie with just a fucking white towel, butt naked, running after Cassie, throwing shit at her. Okay. This is deep. So hotels, definitely hotels, hotel security, definitely hotel security, right? So this to me says something.
So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen, but made no effort to stop it.
That's right. Ask Trey Songz. Trey Songz. Trey Songz. Where are you at? Abraham says, I was a bank manager and banks have a policy called KYC. Know your customer when transactions look fishy and coming into an account. They have a duty to investigate it. Really? See, I didn't know that. So if suddenly like you get like a deposit for like 10,000, because I've had a deposit that was pretty big one time and they held my check. I'm like, they held my check for like 3 or 4 business days. I'm like, I know I'm not like rich, but damn, like I got a little check and it was in the double digits and it was deposited into my account. They look at me like I was, robbing the bank when I'm just trying to deposit the check. That's interesting you say that. Paige, thank you for the $4.99. Says Chase did this for Epsteinin. Ooh-wee, Paige. Pay all the banks. Thank you, Paige, for the $4.99. You said maybe for stealing artist catalogs for 20 years. Oh, yeah, I can't forget French Montana. French Montana, who's had his own allegations. Yeah, he's got a couple.
Any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on, but failed to stop it. Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people.
Now, when he said that, these people that know who they are, they should just come forward now. I mean, if I was being accused, I wouldn't come forward. You would basically be telling them, like, show me what you got on me, and then maybe I might come forward. That's how I see this situation. When he says it, as I said, well, are you bluffing? Or are you like, do you have the receipts that you say that you have, what is this all about? When he said this, kind of made me side-eye him a little bit. Night Charm says they were like, no, ma'am. Yeah, when I tried to deposit a check and it was in the double digits, they looked at me like I was like, I'm like, I'm giving you money. And they looked at me like I was robbing the bank, you know. I'm just saying.
Who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims,
Oh, man.
many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm.
Oh, man.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs.
I agree with you on this, Megs. I just hope they're not just going only one community. I agree. And making sure that they know that this is bigger than any one group or genre. Yeah, like this is not just the hip hop, rap, R&B. No, this is like the music industry as a whole. I agree with your this statement. Like, no. We need to look at all sides. Like, we can't just put it on this industry or this genre. It has to be everywhere. Absolutely.
Other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
All right, I'm gonna go back to him when he speaks, because then he has the ladies that speak, which is very much informative, right? Like why people don't speak out and everything. I think it's important, but I want to get to the points that he makes because they tell us a little bit about the victims and what they're looking at as well.
Just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of ABA Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days, is really
10 days
in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward, where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we set this up, 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. Over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail, they tell me directly, this validates my feelings.
Let me just say this. This took too long. This was way too long ago. Way too long ago. You know who's another person that comes to mind that might be brought up too? Eric Adams. Eric Adams. This took too long. This has been years. It's the same thing that happened with Eric. The shit that I went off on last time with Eric Adams is that these people get up here and they say, good job, district attorney, yada, 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 great investigation. But y'all were sitting there while this man is taking money for the last 8 years and, splurging, going on these lavishes, first class trips to different countries and connections. That just doesn't make sense to me. This took too long. If you had 66 plus reports and y'all didn't do anything, then what was these? Who had these reports? Who had these reports? Who was sitting on this information? They gave him the key to the city in 2020 last year in September. That's what makes me mad about this. It's like, well, we just willfully look away. We're just gonna ignore one too many. 3,000 people in 10 days. I don't know about you guys. I can't even look at my phone for that long. Can you imagine being on the phone taking details from 3? And some of these people are either potential witnesses or victims or both, right? Because you don't even know what you're going to get. You have to wean this off. What if some of these are not credible? What if they're not, people that are. It's just crazy. But hey,
For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? Well, we know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these.
Hold up. And now I'm going to move forward a little bit because I want to go right to the lawyer where he answers more direct questions. Make sure you guys, if you have not watched it in full, I suggest y'all watch it in full. We watched it in full earlier. Okay, I want to get right to where he starts talking.
About some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on.
Okay.
One individual who was 22 years at the time.
So they collected evidence on this individual. Okay. I'm going to stop it right here so I can look at the transcript.
She was assaulted, said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refuse to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you.
Yep.
And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio.
Here we go.
In the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. He was 9 years old at the time, was taken to the audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. The other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the time at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to himself of getting a record deal. So were the parents aware? Because did he make the promise just to the child, or did he make the promise to the parents? Were the parents aware? It's the question that I have. If you read the transcript, it tells you right there. It sounds like Get Crafty Kid in the promise. I'll go back to it, okay? Y'all can listen to him.
Individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is why I'm talking about it. I'm like, was it Meg? It's giving a lot of the parents sold their kids, in my opinion. It's giving that. I don't know. But when you listen, just slow it down a little bit and listen to what the attorney's saying. He's saying that this happened at the record studio, a record deal, and another instance, a minor like this. He's saying it right at the 32 second mark. 31 minute, 32 seconds. Y'all go listen to it. It says it right there. What does he mean? So the parents were aware of it? Did he make the promise to the child and the parents? Did they know after the fact? Okay.
Another instance, another minor told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him.
That one video, this is what comes to mind. Remember that one video where Bieber looks so nervous? Bieber's so nervous looking, and like I would imagine something like this. That's what it seems like to me.
Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual minor was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up allegedly by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, an individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore.
This man is a monster. This man is a monster. Okay? He deserves. I hope he never gets out. Hope he doesn't. He deserves this shit. He deserves what's coming to him. This man, and not just him, everybody that was in that camp, everybody that was helping him out.
And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme, and it all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I want to give you a quote from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created massive individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you're one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you're someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two, but if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it.
Blue Muse, this is my email. You can contact me there if you want to.
Perfect.
How many minors are making accusations in total? Are the feds aware of the allegations of minors?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
Antonio,
And I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
Guys, notice that there's not a lot of people here. There is some news outlets, but not a lot of them.
Tony, were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that? All
seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of, we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go now. Thank you.
Wow.
Tony, do you anticipate any Houston cases? Any filed here? Locally, yeah. There's a few plaintiffs here, but I don't anticipate filing them. Probably.
So they have some claims in Houston as well, by the way, just so everybody's aware.
Yes.
That's what they have. That is what they have. This is insane. And it's only going to get bigger and more people are going to come out and we just going to find out. We're going to keep finding out about more and more and more. This man is right where he deserves to be at, and he needs to be, him and everybody that participated in trying to, bring people in trafficking, looking away, providing him people. They all need to be held accountable. All of them. Pretty much. He said they may not be taking this one by this firm seriously, possibly. I don't know if that's the case, or maybe they just didn't get the memo like all of us did. Because all of us got the memo. I mean, I was a little surprised that, I saw it yesterday and I talked about it. I think I was one of the first people that talked about the fact that there was 100 victims, alleged 100. It went from 55 to 100 from this law firm. And then that's what happened. This is where we were at. So I guess we'll see what happens. Even the assistant, all of them, get them all. Get them all. All of them. Get them. All of them. The Joseph Shermans. Who else? The people from different, anybody who profited, anybody that saw something happen, all of them. Get them all. All of them. That's all. That's a great question. How long do you think before names come out? You know, I don't even know. I mean, are there some names that you guys are going to be surprised to hear? Like, is there a name that you're not expecting to hear from this whole situation? Are there some people that you're like, I'm surprised I didn't even know it would have been this person? I'm just thinking of names that I would have never thought. I can't think of anybody. I mean, I just don't put anything past these people. No, I definitely suspect Russell Simmons and Ty Mottola. You said John Travolta? You think John Travolta wouldn't be in there? Mr. Rogers, who's passed away. You know, I'm just thinking. Fabulous Fab, again, thank you for gifting. Shout out to Fabulous Fab. If you guys got a gift from Fabulous Fab, put a heart in the chat, please, and thank you. Thank you, love. Nothing surprises me. Nothing shocks me at this point. Denzel, I heard, went to one of the parties, so he might be also in, but I don't know, man. Not Denzel, but if Denzel is set, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I know Ice-T is not, maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think about Ice-T? I'm just thinking of other celebrities that would have, like, been involved, but not really. I don't know. I don't know. You said, says Ellen, Disney, Nickelodeon. You said, please don't let Keanu Reeves in the list. You know, Keanu Reeves, I think, might be okay. I think Keanu Reeves is like minding his own business. He seems like the most unproblematic celebrity. I can't think of anybody else. Merna says John Travolta. John Travolta definitely Scientology. That's true. They had two types of parties. You said if you hear about Keanu, you're done 3andMe. Oh my gosh. Canvas, thank you so much for gifting again. If you guys got memberships from my people over here, please put hearts in the chat. Thank you so much, love. Shout out to you. Thank you. Not Patrick Swayze. I don't think Patrick Swayze went to one. I don't know. Definitely the Royals did. That's for sure. That's for sure. Hell, I didn't even know Sarah Jessica Parker went to one with her husband. What is it? What's his name? Broderick. Matthew Broderick. That's what it is. Can't even say his last name. I didn't even know. She was down with the get down. She's in those pictures. Sarah Jessica Parker went to a white party. You see her in the photos. You know. Hey, me and Daz. Yes. What about Dr. Phil? Oh my God. Dr. Phil for sure. I don't know, y'all. Charlie Sheen. Wouldn't surprise me if Charlie Sheen was involved. Ice Cube. Ice Cube was naming names. Dr. Oz. I don't know. Dr. Oz is so weird to me. I don't know. Drew Barrymore would not surprise me if she was involved in something. It just wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. Gene Simmons, you already know. You said my husband, Eminem? Really? I think Eminem's... I've never seen... I don't think Eminem was ever really good with Diddy. Or any of the... You know, because there was a whole West Coast, East Coast thing. And I think even though Eminem is not really West Coast, but he stayed with, you know, Dre and, you know, that whole label, and just he kind of stayed to himself in there. Yeah, that is true. Just because they were the party doesn't mean they stayed for the after party. Let's keep that in mind. You're right, Kelly. You're right. I'm just thinking out loud of, like, now the people are speculating. I'm definitely speculating. Yeah, Eminem scorched his ass on that new album. Some people don't like Eminem. I like Eminem. I think, you know, some of his music is okay. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Eminem, but He's all right. He's all right. He's all right. I don't know. Higher that him sounds more official to me. Like the bosses or the entertainers. Like who's higher than Diddy? That's what I was wondering too, because you know how they said that it had those videos? Not Dolly Parton at a white party. Girl, no. You never liked Eminem? No way. He never liked Diddy. No. Eminem is from Michigan, right? That's what I thought. But he was he got recognized because of Dre and all that other stuff. He kind of hung out on that side of the rap industry. You said Eminem's not involved, but I think Eminem has known for sure. Ooh, Dr. Sophie and Mel B. I know. Leave Dolly Parton out. Dolly Parton is over here doing her thing. Juanita's like, not my Dolly, no. That's the only time you pull Juanita out of the bushes. Not my Dolly, no, girl, no. Oh, J-Lo. Oh, J-Lo. Ay, ay, ay. That girl. You know what? I'm gonna end this. Cher? Oh, Lord. Cher, I don't know. She might have been involved in a white party. Who knows? Or after party. I'm not really sure. All right, y'all. I gotta head out because I gotta go tend to baby bunny. But y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments about everything that we've reviewed. So at least we have an idea of number-wise how many reports, police reports or medical reports there are out there, which is why I wanted to review that with you guys so you guys can hear a little bit more of what I was hearing. I think now that we have a number and anything, and they're still investigating out of the calls that they got. So there could be more reports that, like, what happened to these reports? Are we able to FOIA anything? Will anything be made public? That's what I want to know. And, that really does tell you how these people got away with this shit for so long. Like, this is not okay. Paige, thank you for the $4.99. Said the Kanye video Famous isn't available. All of a sudden, it was up the other day in our countries. Does it? You know what, Paige? There's a lawsuit currently with some of the videos, the music videos on YouTube. I did read on this, so I don't know if there's anything. There's a bunch of other music videos that have disappeared. There's like a lawsuit going on between Diddy and everybody else. Not Diddy, I'm sorry. The music and playing on YouTube. Something's going on. Then they snatched a bunch of like music videos. So I don't know if it's related. It could be, but I'm not really sure. But thank you for the $4.99. I'm gonna let y'all go. You guys have a great one. If you're watching the replay, first of all, thank you so much. And you guys, there was a lot of gifting. Please put some heart in the chats for the people that gifted you. Please and thank you. If you received a gift, thank you. I will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great night. Bye, guys.